Hello, today I'm going to show how to perform CRUD requests to the server, and I'm going to use React.js with my server on C# and .NET 5. Now I'm going to start my server, and the server is working. Let me show. I already put APIs, and the APIs are in areas API, and I have all the controllers here. Now this is the application working. However, I'm gonna request API, which is in /API, and I'm gonna do the members now, just to show. And this is the members API, which is showing the JSON. It is a little bit slow now. Okay, so this is a JSON, and we have APIs. Okay, now first I'm gonna show how to create the application. I'm gonna minimize this one, and I'm not gonna use it anymore. Let's say this is a working server now. I don't know that server. I just have it as a something existing. Now I'm gonna just go to D. I can't understand why my computer is working so slow. Let me check what is taking the modules. What is that? Camtasia. Visual Studio 9. And this is probably because of the running application. Well, okay, I just want to make sure why I'm so slow. Showing 6 tabs. I'm gonna end them all, and I may have to start. Okay, now it's working much faster. Now, okay, I'm gonna start with going to my repository, and I'm gonna see if I have folder. Now I'm gonna make a folder, and I'm gonna name it client. So I'm gonna go in the client, and I'm gonna do the create React app and ./. That means we do it in the current folder. Okay, as soon as this is done, I will start the video again. Now this is done, and I can open with the editor, which in my situation is Visual Studio Code. I've decided this one to be much better than the other ones, and I'm just gonna start npm start. Okay, it's running on localhost 3000, and I have a course policy which is allowing API requests from localhost 3000. And is all here in the startup. Now I'm gonna move to the client, and the application is here, up and running. Now I'm not gonna stop that application anymore. Actually, I'm gonna do it because I have to install Axios. I'm gonna stop the application now, and I'm gonna install Axios. Just npm I Axios. Now I'm just moving forward to app.js, and I'm gonna delete everything up to here. Now saving here, and I can put my header h1, not header but h1, and this is just the font. So h1 is going to be named simple CRUD application. So I'm going to import that Axios which I've just installed. Import Axios from Axios, and Axios should be in single quotes. Now Axios is still loading now, but I'm gonna keep writing the HTML, and now it's just basically simple h tag. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a new div, and this div I'm gonna put as with the class name, and the class name gonna be form, class name equal to form, and I'm gonna say I will have so what I want to do is I want to open two text boxes with submit button, and that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna label them first with label, and the label is gonna be for name, and the other label I'm just gonna perform for two because my API have ID, forename, surname, address, postcode, phone number, email, and full name. I'm just gonna ask for a forename and email. Simply that can be done on all of them, but just to keep it as simple as possible, I'm just gonna say email here. Okay, now let me check. Okay, this is still installing. Now I'm gonna make the text boxes, and they're gonna be input, and the input, the type is gonna be text, and we're gonna have a name is gonna be member's name, and we're gonna say on change. Oops, have something wrong. Input input don't have to close like that. I need to close the input just here. Now text, I don't need a comma. I'll say here on change equal, and I'm gonna make arrow function here, and the argument gonna be e, and let me make the arrow open curly braces, and I'm gonna say set email, because I'm gonna make set email const, not const but variable, and e dot target, and we are targeting the value. Now if we want this set email to work, have to put, let me see what's wrong here, div. Is it this one too much? Shouldn't be. Why this is like that? Whoops. Now we have input which close here. Expect and confirm just a closing tag for input. Wow. Okay, I'll sort this out. And label, we open div. Now this div should close this one. And this. Okay. However, I'm gonna sort this out. So e.target is the value. I open the curly braces and I close them here. I open and I didn't close them actually. Now I have to close the curly braces.
There's a space.
It's just the slash here, and we have the input text box. Now I'm gonna copy the same one. I'm gonna copy the input text box and I'm gonna paste it here. I'm just gonna name it members email. Sorry, just members email. Set. This is gonna be name. Where is my mind? Forename, email. Now I have to declare that constant. Now this is just like const, and we just say forename and forename set name, and we just which this is because I'm using a laptop, and we just set state use state, and this is going to be simply a string. Now I'm going to make a same with const, and I'm going to say email, and it's going to be from set email, and this is use state as well, use state, and this is going to be string as well. Now I have to do something else. I have to make another const for the list, which is going to be members list, because when I'm getting a list with names with API with the object, I need to put it somewhere. That's going to be in the members list, and I'm gonna use set update here, and is equal to use state, and this is gonna be an array. Okay, actually this notice update is set no, it's gonna be get list. All right, now we need a button. Now let me see first actually if we can do npm start. I just like to see what I'm coding now. I'm coding blindly. I'm just relying on IntelliSense of the IDE. Let's see what we've done. We should have 2 text boxes, and that's it. Yeah, forename and email. Simple CRUD application. Now we need submit button. We're gonna do a submit button, and the submit button gonna be simply done by just button. We close the button and we call it submit. Now as soon as I perform a bit more logic, I'm gonna upgrade that button to be clickable. Yeah, so let me see if the button is here now. Yeah, we got submit button now. Okay, before I go forward, I'm just gonna play a bit with CSS files, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use my I already done class name form, and I'm gonna write a little bit in the CSS, and basically I can delete everything here, and I can start from dot form and open the brackets, and I'll say display to be flex, and I'm gonna say flex direction column, and what I'm gonna say is align items, line items center, align item center, and I'm gonna justify the content in the center. Okay, now this is with the form, and we should need for the input, and I'm gonna write the input. Now the input is gonna be with 300 pixels, and with height I'll say 45 pixels, and we have a margin in between them, margin 10 pixels, and the last one, the font size, which we're gonna write into. So our font is gonna be 20 pixels. So when we write, our font is gonna be 20. Yeah. Now I don't know. Form input width 300, height 45, margin 10 pixels, font size 20 pixels. Yeah, we should be fine. I don't know on there. Maybe I'm wrong with the JS file. Let me see. Input label. They should appear underneath of each other. Okay, so input member name, members email, set email, target is the volume, and the button is just there. Okay, but that's fine. I just mess up a bit here. I was really want to put them underneath of each other, but that's gonna be fine. Now we're gonna enter just the name and email here, let's start implementing some logic. I'm not here to do CSS and HTML. I'm just gonna implement CRUD. So what we have to do now is we are gonna use Axios, which I just installed. We're gonna use Axios, and we're gonna use Axios.get. I'm just gonna write here get, and I'm gonna use Axios, but I'm gonna use also use effect. Oh, it's automatically adding use effect, and I'm gonna use it arrow function as well. Now I'm gonna say Axios.get, and I'm gonna say the URL. In our situation, the URL is just the members URL here, and we're gonna get them all, and then we say .then, and we're gonna put our variable is gonna be response. Here doesn't matter really, but I'm just naming it response because we have response from the API server, and we're gonna put everything in the get list. That's why I put it in the get list, because the data flow is get list is assigning that array to members list, and in order to do that, to put all that data in get list, we have to call get list and then response dot data, and that's all. Okay, now we start getting responses. And if I just use the network, we're getting responses, and this is very annoying bug, which I'm getting responses all the time, but I'm gonna fix that anyway. Okay, now we have APIs flowing in our application, and what we're gonna do, I'll say we can post now. Before we display the information, I'm just gonna put the post, or no, let's display the information first, because that's very easy. Let's display the information just after here. I'm gonna call the members list dot map, and I'm gonna put it in variable member, and I've just named this one therefore, because you do that, therefore you do something else, and that's how I understand it. This is my way. Therefore you return, and we're gonna return a cards, so we have to put it in a div so we can div tag. Okay, div, why is not closing it? Div. Okay, I'm gonna close div. I'm gonna have forward slash here. Now we put it in a div, and I'm gonna name this class name as a card, so I can determine later on how big is gonna be the card and the style of the card. Now what do we wanna say? We wanna say the member name, so we're gonna call it member name. Actually, we don't want to do that. We just want to pass the straight variable member.name. So member, so this is the member, and it's member.forename. Let me see if it's the correct thing. Forename is not showing me. Am I making something wrong? I'm making something wrong. So I'm opening here, then div tag here, div, next one, the label, the input open close, label open close, input open close, button open close, members list dot map, opening, and then open the map, and then putting the member return. Oh, I need semicolon here. Okay, this is not really good now. F1, open div, 2, open div, 3. And I close it here. This is the card. Oh, actually, yeah, this should be correct. Okay, by mistake I put here div equal to class name, which I just find out, but this is not an issue. Now member.forename. This is very funny now. Okay, now members list. This is the members list, and get list. Now I'm just gonna move it like that. Now let me see. Now this is div class name is card, and h1 is gonna be member forename. Member dot, no, oh, I forgot the curly braces. Member dot forename. Now is better. Now is better. Now is working. Member dot forename, and as a smaller one, let's say paragraph, we're gonna say member dot email. Member dot email. I forgot the curly braces again. This is because I'm not used to that in C#, which I mainly use, and the syntax is a bit different, and I'm often make that mistakes. And that's it. Now I'm gonna make them as a card. Yeah, let's make them as a card. I'll go here now, in app.css, and I already put my variable, which says is .cart, so .cart, and the card's gonna have a width of 400 pixels and height of 220 pixels, and we're gonna have a border of 2 pixels solid, and what's gonna be black, no, navy, and the border radius is going to be 15 pixels, and the margin is going to be 10 pixels. Okay, now we should look at the card. Yeah, pretty much good. I make them bigger, and I make them bigger on purpose because here is gonna be when we do our update, I'm gonna write down as a text box here, and I'm gonna make like update button, so I just want enough space for that. Okay, now we can go back to our app.js file, and we already have our get method here, so we are getting all the information and we're getting it here. Now we should be able to post. Now when we are entering something, something at gmail.com, we cannot submit. It is not working. Now the next step is going to be to work. Now we're going to make that working by using Axios again, and next method gonna be the post. Okay, so now the post, I'm gonna use the const, and I'm gonna say as a set member, and the arrow function, and we're gonna post with axios.post, and I'm gonna use actually the same URL, axios.post. I'm gonna open the braces here, post, and we're gonna give the body. So the body gonna be, so our forename is gonna be equal to the forename. So the data flow here is this forename is the variable coming from here. Okay, but now the information coming in here is coming from set name. So set name is coming from the text box, this text box. Now when we put something here, is going into this variable set name, because we are requesting the value of the text box and we're putting in set name, and now we are taking that value into the forename, and now we are assigning that forename, which is going to be the body of our API. Forename is going to be equal to that forename here, which is set here and is coming from the text box. And the next one is going to be the email, which is going to come from the email, from this email here, which is the same, I forgot here the comma, from that email. Now I open that braces here, Okay. Now, oh, we don't need braces here. I was thinking why, where I'm closing this. I'm closing in the wrong place. Now when we post here, close, yeah. Here we're gonna need the comma again. Why is still giving me this one? Property assignment expected. Forename to forename. Email to the email. Then we close this one. Oh, is it other way around? Should be other way around. Should be like that. Okay, sorry about it. Now, when we post, we should be able to post now. Oh, first of all, I have to do the logic in the submit button, which is very easy. I have my submit button here, and button on click equal to our variable, which is set member. So this set member, the function, sorry. When we click the button, we call that function, and that function is doing everything for us. Now we should be able to submit. Now I'm gonna enter Georgie with gogo@gmail.com, and when I press submit, it's already here. Now it's working. Yeah, so we can get and we can submit. Now the next one, which I'm going to implement, is delete. I'm going to implement delete, and I'm going to use Axios again, like usual. Const, and I'm going to call it delete member. Now here we're gonna do a little bit more tricky stuff. We're gonna pass a variable, which argument, which is the ID, and we're gonna use that ID, and Axios dot delete, and we're gonna call the API, the URL, sorry, which is gonna be this URL. And because I'm going to use a concatenation, I'm going to put a single quote. And what's happened with delete? What's happened is, if I show from the postman, when I send delete requests to the server, actually what I can do is I just put the API like / and the ID of the member. So I'm just gonna concatenate that one, and I'm gonna just say plus the ID. So wherever comes ID, I just delete the API with that ID, because this ID gonna come here. And this is thanks to my teacher Stoyan Cheresharov, where he shows me here and helped me to debug this problem, which was very annoying for me but very easy for him. Now when we pass that ID, we're gonna delete it. Now I'm gonna implement another button, which is gonna be just delete member button. Let me think where to put it. I'm just gonna put it straight here, button, and I'm gonna say button on click equal, oh sorry, I have to use arrow function here, so button on click, and then we're just gonna pass arrow function because we need to send. So delete member, we're gonna activate that delete member, and we're gonna send our member.id. And now when we set that member ID, that ID will come here, therefore will come here, and that member with that ID gonna be deleted straight away. So I'm gonna just say delete member, and what's here, button on click, blah 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 blah, missing semicolon. Okay, I don't need semicolon there. What for? I have something wrong. Oh, this should be normal bracket, because I'm calling that function here. Okay, now I have this, and I can delete member. I've deleted, I can delete the other member, and I can delete the other member. Now I'm gonna make another members because I need members. Georgie and Georgie at gmail.com. I'm gonna submit, and I'm gonna say Annie at gmail.com, and I'm gonna submit. So that's it. Now what we're gonna do is we have to update that members, and that's gonna be our last step. And okay, let's delete, and now we got update. Now I'm just gonna call that function update member, and we're gonna pass the ID, and I've decided to do the forename as well, because otherwise we're gonna lose the forename, and it's gonna just update the email in our scenario. Now what we're gonna do, now we're gonna use axios.put, and we're gonna need, basically we're gonna use the same method which we used here. So I'm gonna just paste that here, and that's gonna be the ID. Now the only difference here is we have to, as a post, we have to give them the information. Now we can do that with opening curly braces and give them the forename. So it's going to be the same scenario here. No, actually not. We need to give them the ID. ID is going to be the ID which is coming from our argument. here. Then we're gonna have the forename, which is gonna come from the forename, and we're gonna have what we're gonna have next. Forename and email, and it's gonna come from what variable? Oh, we have to make a variable here for that update, so we're gonna make a const, and I'm gonna call it new update, and I'm gonna say here just what to say. Let's be constant, like set update, and I'm gonna give a state, and the use state is gonna be just a string. Now we can use that new update, which I just say new update, and that's gonna be the new update now. Okay, now we need a text box so we can enter our update, or I don't know, should I just say update here? But no, we should put it in here. Yeah, I'm just gonna put it in here inside. So I'm just gonna say here, okay, we start with another input. I'm just gonna put this input. What? No, I should be inside the diff. Yeah. My bad. So the input should be here. Input, and we're gonna say the input is gonna be we should say type equal to text. We're gonna name it, actually we're gonna say ID equal to update member. That need quotation, that need to be the quotation, and on change, this is when we enter something. Let's put arrow function, and let's put E here as the rule said, and then you have to open curly braces, close the curly braces, and we're gonna say the set, we call it set update, I think. Yes, set update, so we call it set update. So set update gonna take now wherever is given is gonna be passed or remembered in that set update, and it's e.target.value as we did before in here. We do it same here. So we have our error here on change the arrow function, making something wrong. Input, oh, what was that? Update. Oh, I don't have to close it that way. I have to just close it here. Now I open it and then I open the curly braces, close them here, open, yeah, that should be what's the problem here? Unexpected token, expected with on change. Oh, that should be with equal, on change equal, yeah. Now we should be working. Yeah, we are working. So whatever we put in the text box, we pass that value into the set update. Set update, passed it to the new update, and we have new update into the email here. I can pass it here, but it's not good for reusing, and because I'm looking forward to a scalable application, I just have to put all that variables here, so I can use them everywhere in my code, not only here. Or so I'm just keeping the good code, maintaining good code. Now what we need is update button, and we're gonna call it update member. What I can do is, because I don't have space underneath, I'm just gonna put it after delete member, so we're gonna have it in the same row. So we have button, on click. Actually, I can copy the same button. No, it's gonna be more easy for me. Button, and the button is gonna be update member. Now I'm gonna implement the logic. On click equal, we need the arrow function again, and we're gonna use this one. Now open, and then what we're gonna have, we're gonna call update member. So we call update member here, no, not here, we call update member here, and what we give member dot id, we have member dot forename, and that's it. That's pretty much it. Now we have our update button. Now I'm gonna try, and this is only for this is for this I don't know how to explain it. This is only for purpose to show a very simple CRUD. I'm not implementing a very good style or stuff. It's just I implement enough just to show the logic behind. So I'm gonna update my email only, and it's only for the email. You can do that for every other property of your API, and by using the same logic from here, you can do as many as you want. I'm going to just update it to gogo@gmail.com, and I'm going to update it. Now it's gogo@gmail.com, and I can delete, and everything is working very good. Now the last bit, which is very much worrying me, is now the last bit is I have that requests happening all the time. And what I did is I dig deep into react.js documentation, and I find this use effect. Now use effect snippets, and I got to the point where I just I find this is from use effect, because when I comment it and I don't use my get, these requests are stopping. Now I don't have the request happening. As soon as I save it, request stop. Now as soon as I uncomment it and the requests start happening again, and I start digging deep because I've tried to debug that one for a day now, and what I found is, as a second argument, if you want to stop that request happening all the time, you should put an empty array on the back as a second argument, and I've read it here in that documentation. However, I don't remember where exactly was that. Anyway, now this one, and this is the first argument. I pass the API, and I want the response, and then I'm saving that in get list, and this is happening like all the time. Now what's happening here is, if I put that as a second argument, because the first argument is that axios.get and all that stuff. Now if I just put an empty array here, these requests are no longer happening, and this is solving the problem. Now. I don't have this problem, and that's it. Pretty much is a simple empty array as a second argument here, and that's all the problem. Thank you very much, and see you in the next video.